Hello, guys. So I hope all of you are doing well and fine and going through the pace with the course. And you have practiced all the visualizations which we have discussed in module 6 in a lot of depth. So come back with your questions and all that. So now we are moving forward to module 7, the module 7. And this module 7, as we talked before as well, it will be about DAX in Power BI. So we'll understand what is DAX, how to use DAX in Power BI. So let's jump in. Let's not waste any time and let's come up. Let's start with the pace of the session. So first of all, in this part of this module, we'll understand that what is DEX. First of all, understanding the context. Why do we need DEX? Okay, and there are some three main concepts using DEX: the creating the calculated measures, creating calculated uh, um, uh, columns, creating calculated tables, all that stuff. We'll do practical in the coming half of this module. Okay. So in this first part, we will understand what is DEX and what is the requirement of DEX. First of all, let's move in. Let's talk about intro to DEX. So DEX, the full form of DEX is data analysis expression. It's a programming language which is used to create the. It is used by Microsoft Power BI inside SSAS. We use it. Okay. What is the use of DEX? We use it to create the calculated measures, columns, and the tables inside Power BI. Using your already loaded data set, you will create some new measures, new columns, and the new tables as per your requirement, the custom tables. Okay. So we can have functions as a programming language. We can have variables, operators, constants, everything inside the DEX as well. DEX is, I can say, it's a very simple and straightforward language, but not very easy to learn. Not it's not possible to learn DEX totally into 1 hour or 2 hours. So we'll understand how to use DEX in the context of Power BI. Okay, because it's not like becoming a DEX developer. The purpose is to become a Power BI developer and understanding DEX inside that, how to use it. Okay, so we'll move forward in that context. Got my point? So let's talk about the next point. So as I was telling you that first, that the majorly we'll use DEX for three purposes: for creating calculated columns, calculated measures, plus calculated tables. What is the difference between a calculated column and calculated measure? You will understand that in coming half of this part itself. Okay. So first, let's talk about use calculated column. So let's say in any of the table, and you want to create a new calculated column. What you will do is you will jump in to the table, and let's say for example, I have this table right now where I have 4 columns given: the order ID, product ID, quantity, and the unit price. The data has been entered inside the table, and we need to calculate that we doesn't have a column of total sales, so we need to calculate it by using the calculated column feature of DEX. What you will do is you will just need to go onto the table name, just click on the ellipse, the 3 dot ellipsis button with the table name, and you will find here, or maybe you can right click on the table name. You will find the option of creating a new column. You can find the option of creating a new column. Okay, that will add in the field list of your table. So click on that new column button. Once you will do that, this window will appear. You will enter the new name of the column. What will be the new name of the column? So for example, here the new name of our column is total price. So you'll enter a very simple formula. The sales order quantity. We already have the quantity column here. So we'll enter the quantity column multiplied by unit price. So we'll go back here, and this will be our DEX expression. So sales order quantity multiplied by unit price. Okay. So what it will do, it will calculate the new column of total price row by row. For each and every row, it will calculate the value of the total price row by row. Okay. So that's how it will calculate it, and it will be added into your field list like this. It will give the value for total price for each and every order ID. Okay, by multiplying the quantity to the unit price. Okay. So that's a simple and straightforward DEX expression which we'll use for this purpose. And if you hit enter, it will be added in your field list. So now what you can do is you can go ahead and you can use that field. You can use that new calculate column in any of your graph, in any of your visual, and you can utilize that. Okay, to show the total price. Great. So how many number of the ways are there to create a custom column inside Power BI. So there are three main ways of doing it. The first one is not only DAX. Just DAX is one of the feature of that. We can use. We already have seen a number of times we have created calculated columns based on Power Query. So we can create the custom column inside the Power Query. We can create the custom column at at the data level, at the source level itself in the SQL. Okay, so that is the best way. I always prefer it to go ahead and at the time of importing the data itself, you create the required columns in the source itself, so that it will be not taking too much time inside the Power BI. Okay, once you have loaded the data set, it will not take too much time. So using all the three ways, we can create different columns. Okay, but the point here to understand is the efficiency, which one is more better. So yes, I'll always prefer to create the required columns before importing the data in the SQL itself. Okay, but yes, for different sources, for example, Excel and all those stuff, Excel, WAB, JSON files for your CSV files, you definitely need to use DAX for that expression, or maybe Power Query. Okay, so go ahead and let's talk about now the measures. So when we talk about measures, so first of all, let's understand what are measures. So measures are like kind of an aggregation on your calculated column, like kind of an aggregation. So for example, you want to we can consider a scenario where you want to do the aggregation, and you want to see the total sales of all the rows. I want to see, we have already created total sales, total price here. Now I want to create a measure for total sales. Okay, which will give me the total sales for all the data set. Okay, so that will be my measure. Okay, so what you will do, you will write a DAX expression for that, or maybe Power BI is so helpful. The Power BI gives you a feature of using new quick measures. I'll show you how to use the quick measures when we do practical as well. Even I'll give a small demonstration here as well. What is the meaning of quick measures? Okay, so let's go ahead and first let's talk about the feature of create a quick measure. So similarly, when you create on the three dot ellipsis button of your table name, you will find a option of creating a new quick measure. Okay, so you just click on that, a new window will appear. It will give you the list of quick measures available, where you will find sum of the sales, sum of the total quantity, you will find average, you will find maximum, minimum, all those kind of stuff. Okay, so click on the new measure. You will find, as the measure you will select, you will find what you will be finding. For example, we are here, we need to select the total sales. So we just need the sum of total price column, which we have created. We have already created the column of total price. So we'll apply a sum function on that. So you don't need to write this X. That will be, if you are using a quick measure, that will be written by Power BI itself. So that is the best benefit of using a quick measure. As I told, you will find a number of features inside the quick measure. You will find a lot of options available there. But yes, for some of the measures, you will need to write the DAX as well. So don't worry, we'll learn that as well. But it is very helpful, the quick measures. Okay, so then once you have done that, you can now drag it onto your visual, and you can find the total sales for our data set. So that's a very useful feature. Great. So now let's understand what is the difference between a calculated column and a calculated measure. A very important interview question as well, and a very important point to understand when you are working on Power BI. See, when you are talking about creating a calculated column, it calculates the column row by row for each row of your table. For example, if you remember, we have created a calculated column here. So it has calculated the total price for each and every row by row. Okay. So first point, the calculated column will be it will be done row by row. So if you have 1,000 rows in your table, the calculated column values will be calculated for all the 1,000 rows. Okay, and the data will be stored into Power BI. So definitely it will increase the file size. It will definitely take some potential time to refresh the data. When you're refreshing your data set, it will also be refreshed. So it will take some time to refresh the data set as well. But measures, on the other hand, they are on demand. As you need on the demand, you will calculate the measures. Okay, so for example, I need to apply a filter context. I need to say, okay, I want to calculate the total number of sales based on in New York City, only. Okay, so I'll create a new measure for that. It will be calculated on the fly. It will not be stored into my data set. So first of all, it will not occupy the space. Second point, it will not uh, be used in refreshing the data set. So that's why definitely the measures are very powerful feature. So first, because they are helping with the filter context as well. So that's what will be the next agenda for the upcoming part of this module. To do it practically now, we'll talk about, if you see the agenda of this session once again, we'll talk about the important functions, like how to use sum x, the important functions of dates to use from the DAX, and we'll the very important function of calculate function, which will help you to apply the filter context with your calculate columns and measures. So thanks a lot, and go through this introduction, and in the coming half of the time, we'll talk about the practical implementation of DAX in Power BI. Thanks a lot.